through the inquiry of knowing thyself, right? So what is this? What is the self? And doing that inquiry. So for me, this year has been quite jam-packed, actually. And again, so much gratitude for the connections that I've made, with the conversations that I've had. Gratitude for my own meditation practice, like William. I have a pretty solid meditation practice that I can rely on and rest in and keep me centered and grounded. So I think that about sums up my 2020.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Just want to jump in a second,
Amazing.
guys. If you can hear me okay now.
Ah, yes, we can.
Well, whatever happened in the last 20 minutes didn't record.
We know.
That's okay.
So I just wanted to say
We were just
that.
having chats.
And
Yeah.
I've just put it on a different computer now. So the laptop, I don't know what was wrong with it, but it just locked up completely and would not have anything. So fingers crossed. If we're going to do this,
Wow.
I'll do it from up here. But at least this way it's bang on, and it's, well, again, fingers crossed. That depends on Gremlins, of course. But
It's okay.
It's recording again now, so we're
Okay.
whatever that was. Carry on, please. Don't let me jump in.
Well, I'll jump in, I guess, and on the front end. Andrea alluded to it at the very tail end of her conversation about inner growth. And 2020 for me, like I don't want to say I was ahead of the game or any of that kind of stuff, but a lot of research and a lot of work on the outer for the last few years, like Andrea said, 2016, maybe the same kind of pattern, but my God, this year was so, learning to love myself again and really be my best friend. And, it just kept coming at me from different angles. My little granddaughter, I got to tell this story again, but I've told it many times, that she was with my sister, one of my sisters, and her mother, my daughter, and they were asking her, well, what'd you do at school today and stuff like that. And then she kept telling them, she says, well, what's your friend's name? She told them, she says, well, who's your best friend? And she looked at them as if they should have known this by now. And all she said was, I'm my best friend. And it was such a touching moment. And I
love that.
and I think of that a lot. And then I keep running into more examples of it, like the Hermes Trismegistus. And how I said it right, Ida, don't tease me. So anyway, that whole development of the I am and me, like, my God, that just was so beautiful. And it's the subconscious and the conscious, that the both inside of us, that when they join, then you've got God, like then you've got the awareness, and you've got the strength to answer anything and question everything, like it's so beautiful. And I'm really happy with this 2020 for that, because it's given me that opportunity. I haven't done any concrete business. Benjamin and I are both in the banking world. That's how I met Benjamin, in the broker world of banking. And I shouldn't say we haven't done anything. We've done a lot, haven't we, Benjamin? But we haven't we haven't finished a deal other than the one that we have on the table right now, which is going to finish, and we know that. And it's just a matter of time, if you want to call it that. But we've done so much learning, back and forth, Benjamin and I, in the
alchemy
banking world. But yes, alchemy, exactly. Like we kind of designed together this pyramid, and then the whole discovery of the alchemy, or I'm going to call it magic, behind the banking system, because alchemy brings in the element of love. And that's what we're doing. We're alchemizing the banking industry, Benjamin and I and others, but Benjamin and I right at the forefront with the love all the time. And that magic, I'll call it, that they used when they talked elements, using the PB and the AU and SB being anti-money. It just came out so clear to Benjamin and I when we were discovering that. That was in, I don't know, when was that, Benjamin? In June, maybe?
Yeah.
So, that was part of our process this year, but the inner work is what I wanted to just mention, and how, I've learned so much. And I'm not in a relationship, I haven't been since last March, which is maybe part of it, but I don't recommend that or say that it has to be or anything like that either. To learn to love yourself, you can do it within a relationship too, but it's, I don't know, that was my experience. So I'll pass it on. Thank you very much.
Last March. That's synchronicity.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
That was when I snapped. Yeah, last March. Not this year, last year. So it was a sort of saying, there must be something in the air that month, my friend.
When we locked down in March
No, it was last 2019 March.
Oh,
Still just saying that March,
yeah.
March was
Again,
the
a year
month that we
later.
locked down.
That's and a year later. That's probably why I went when lockdown. Because in that year, there's been so much work done on. Well, I've done so much work on me that when that hit, I just went. Everybody's got to see this. Surely, everybody must. And that's when. So 2020 for me, it's been a blizzard of a wonderful ride of what's next. Come on, everybody, let's go.
love
You
that.
can see. You must be able to see this. It's come on. So I'm just enthused with all of it, and this is why I'm on the back of a lot of coattails. I feel, but riding them gracefully. There you go, riding them gracefully because it's so much fun. Looking at this from a distance and observing this rather than being in it. But I don't know what you feel about that. Whether you feel that you're in it or you're watching it.
Both.
Yeah, I would say both too. Yeah.
William? Are you?
Oh, now
You're on
William
mute.
You're
went.
muted. You're muted, William. There.
I am. Thank you. I am. I'm also more in a space of watching it, a little bit more from a distance. I do everything from home, so it's quite simple to see what's going on, but not really be participating in it. There have been times when I've kind of felt like I should do something, but you know what we do with shoulds, right, Ida?
Don't shoot all over yourself, William.
Exactly. But yeah, it's there are times when I feel like there were opportunities to jump in, and I, for whatever reason, right or wrong, who knows, but I didn't jump in. I continue to watch, and I continue to just do my own thing. As far as, again, meditation became stronger. I found this guy who was doing a meditation through something called pranic healing, and what I liked about it was he was blessing the world as part of the meditation as well. So it's not only sending energy to ourselves, but we were also sending energy to the earth, the planet, the people in the planet, and I really liked that. And then other things came up, and I transitioned into that. So there was a certain organic flow to it. So that's what I can say. I'm curious too, not for a conversation for today, but something to put in our cap, perhaps, if you're willing. Lee, is it crossed my mind today that you had said that you almost took your life a year and a half ago, probably right around March, perhaps, and I'm thinking that's probably a pretty darn interesting story from where you were at then to where you are now. And if you're willing to share any of that at a future call, I would love to hear it.
I'm willing to share about it anytime to anybody. It's part of my story, and the process of how it went, how it transpired. I mean, yeah. What about it? Do you want to know? the 7 or the 10 years of crippling depression, or prior to that, the unknowing about everything, nothing making sense, and on the outskirts and the periphery of everything, marginalized because you don't follow the and not being able to speak to anybody because nobody listens to you because you're talking words that they don't understand. You're asking questions they don't want to ask because everybody's, well, that doesn't affect me. But it fucking will. If you don't get your head around it, sooner or later it will affect you. So please wake up. No, it doesn't. It's right in front. So this was an ongoing process, and it led to, I would call it a snap. And the snap was literally, it's easier to turn the lights off than to live this. And weirdly, as an atheist at the time, I went through, in my mind, the double slit experiment left me with the ability to turn the lights off. I don't know if you've heard of the double slit or what the double slit is, William. No? But basically what it means, long story short, and the double slit's fascinating when you look into it. What it led to is a belief that everything was conscious, because the universe couldn't be there without a conscious observer. And it led to energy, me, going back to the whole to go and do it again somewhere else, because I'd had enough here. And with that understanding of, well, it's just transmuting of energy. What I am here doesn't make any difference. I've had a gut full of this. Let's go somewhere else and try again, whatever. You know, it doesn't matter to me. This is, let's turn the lights off. It was harder not to be honest. But the process that I then went through was literally just, well, removal of blame to myself. As I say, I said
Wow.
to Ida, I said to yourself, it's forgiveness to yourself. And as I said, fortunately for me, it was taken back to zero. So I was told quite categorically that before the age of 7, you were screwed, the same as everybody else is. I don't know whether it's the best way to explain it, but it worked for me, because what it did was meant that I could actually take all of those years of fucking things up, smashing things, destroying things, never being happy, and never allowed to be happy. You don't allow yourself to be happy. Your ego will never let yourself be happy whilst you've got trauma. Because in my mind, the trauma, what it does is it hides blame. So you get to a certain point and well, for me anyway, the ego says to me, no, you can't go any further because it will release the blame on them and they owe you. And they didn't owe me anything. So once I released the blame on myself, then I realized it wasn't anybody else's fault either. And that sort of put everything into perspective. And then you sort of go back through everything. And I do still do this daily, but you go back through everything and you revisit everything. And there's no pain or anger with any of it anymore. It's just love. It's just a realization that they were doing their thing in survival mode, the same as I was. So how can I blame myself for being in survival mode and breaking things and destroying things? I didn't do anything terribly bad. I didn't treat people very well, but they didn't treat me very well. You know, we can look back at it all and we can lay all this blame, but we were all doing this in survival mode. And to release the survival mode for me was to remove that egoic, traumatic box of fears, I call it. Other people call it the dark night of the soul or whatever you want to call it. But it's taking accountability for your own actions and releasing the blame for yourself for any of them. And if you can do that, then you release the blame for anybody else for doing that to you, because they were doing their same thing. So the process of coming out of it was beautiful. The ability to shut the lights off was there. The switch to do that was easier than the process to come out. But once you've come out of it, you realize it's the best thing you've ever done. And whether or not I've got to do it again with another, but I'm sure the impact won't be as hard next time. It took me 49 years this time to get to that point of falling. In the future, if it comes back and anything hits me sideways, I'm sure it'll be, okay, yeah, we can deal with that one a lot easier. So does that answer some of that? I haven't gone into too much detail on it, but does that answer some of that question? Does anybody else gone through that, or does that resonate with anybody?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Having had, yeah, I've had multiple traumas myself. So, yeah.
The fascinating thing, without going into too much detail now, because this is a lot with, to me now, is undertake the test before you get given the answers. So when I went through this period for myself, I had no idea, as I said, about ancestral trauma. I had no idea about soul contracts. I had no idea about any of this spiritual stuff, because I hit it from a atheistic point of view, because I was so fed up with religion and what it had done. You know, I'd gone through all of these things, and atheism made sense, but that also was the kicker to bring me to God, weirdly. You know, so it's a full circle on that respect. But yeah, it's the release of that. So the trauma, when you go back to zero and you realize that what happened last year or the year before or 5 years ago or 10 years ago was just a symptom from a cause, then all of the modern day traumas that we go through that are painful in here, that we feel in here, hold so much power to us because they're quite close in the memory, are relatively meaningless because they're just a symptom. The cause was the beginning. So if you can get your head around the cause was the beginning, and then you can release all that, then it makes, well, you just jumped over that, but it makes that process a little bit easier than trying to scrape away the layers from the top backwards. If that makes any sense. Again, I'm sorry, I'm just telling my story the way the way I went through it. I could get a lot deeper into this, but again, let's wait for questions before I do.
Thank you.
Oh, that was awesome. Honestly,
Yeah.
beautiful.
I can become quite tearful about this one. It depends on who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
that empathetic part of it is how deep do I go into the pain that the other person's thinking or feeling when I write the story, if you like. So
Yes.
a lot of times when I go through the snap or the end game and whatever I did, it will cause an empathetic response in the person I'm talking to, which will send me deeper and cause, and it might, I could be a sobbing wreck, but on the inside, there's no pain. It's just love. I'm just joyous, crying, just allowing that emotion to come up without it impacting at all.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And it's a beautiful thing. It's what I call showing vulnerability, but it's vulnerability and a strength. The strength.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
The strength of that vulnerability is impenetrable, absolutely impenetrable, and nobody would have the chutzpah or the whatever to infringe on that vulnerability because it's from strength. There's no weakness in that at all, and that's another beautiful thing because as the ego shows from the super ego, the control and the alpha male. A lot of us have got it in us, man, and a lot of us have lived there for a long time. Even if we think we're introverted or not, sometimes we'll go into situations and that super ego, that control faction, that alpha male, and we've seen an awful lot of people that are like that around us, right? But in general, it's a facade. It's just hiding somebody else's trauma, hiding their own trauma, and of course, once you see past their shields and their guards, it's just a little boy inside screaming or a little girl inside screaming. That's
what I saw. That's what I was experiencing when you were telling your story. I saw you, Lee, as your boy self. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but and there's no reason, because the boy in me now, I hope, is safe. I know is safe. I had white noise. Is all I can. The easiest way of calling it is white noise. And my head works 100 miles an hour like Randy's. It's just, and all this white noise was constant. And that was my war. When I forgave myself and actually led to my parents forgiving them, and this noise, this energy dropped to the solar plexus or just above. And it was like a big thump in my gut. Well, at the top of my gut, just below my heart, big thump. And at that point, I was like, well, this feels like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to say
embodiment.
I'm going to say hello to it. I'm going to give it love.
Okay.
And every time it appears, I'm going to go, oh yeah, hello, you're welcome, you're okay, you're loved. You just stay where you need to be, and you help me if you want. And that's the way I look at this now. So
what about this? What about this word for that? That's pronounced atonement, but it's at-one-ment, really.
It could be. Very good. Another play on words. But because of the way I've done a lot of this stuff, it's not through books or it's not through somebody else. So my language for this is purely mine. It's not learned or it's not erudite. I can't give you scholarly wordship for this because I haven't got that. There's no process that I can explain to you. Or go read that book. That's the process. Because that wasn't the process for me. The process was get to a point where you had nowhere else to go. I was hanging. I'll give you this. What caused me to go? Snap. What caused me to atone at one? Was I felt I was in a cage. And the cage, this is what I explained. I've got a picture of this, but I was in a cage, and the cage was full of barbed wire. It was dark, it was dank, it was wet, it was horrible, it was sinking, and it was swampy, and it was all the things you could think of that weren't good. And there's a gate to this cage. And everybody I met and everybody I saw and everybody I was with, eventually I just got to the point with, why won't you open this cage and let me out? And it wasn't until somebody said to me, maybe they don't know where the door is, that I went, fuck. The key's on the inside. It's not on the outside of the cage. The only way you're going to get off that cage is by opening the cage yourself and opening the cage up. It's nobody else's job. And that led to the accountability going back into me. How can I blame everybody for not opening this cage when I've got the key? And I went, boom, doof. I had about one finger left at this point on the edge of that precipice. Because now I had to go back through my life and accept blame for everything. And then I found out there's more to this than accepting blame for everything. You don't need to forgive, not blame. And the process started in earnest. Wow. In earnest. Is that somewhere good, William? There's a bit more again, but
that's why I said it was probably going to be a good one for another time, because I knew this was not going to be a short answer.
We can. A lot of what I talk about with the ego and stuff like this comes back to that same process, which is why I would never argue with anybody or judge anybody on their use or terminology of the word ego or how they feel about it.
Yeah,
I've got a different belief to somebody else has got a different belief. It doesn't make either of us wrong or either of us right. Well, it does. It makes both right. To be honest, there is no wrong in my eyes. So how you deal with it all is up to you, and it's all a journey. If I hadn't have been so egoic or egotistic, I may not have had to wait so long. But then if I look back and say that, there's a regret involved in that, and divinely that was my time. So again, you got to be, each time you look at something and you think back on it, then look at it bigger and bigger and bigger. And each time you go bigger, it's less and less meaningful. It's just more synchronicity and more divinity working and more your journey and the points you needed to meet and the soul contracts that you made, and they all line up. So if we go back, oh, I wish I'd have done that. Well, that's regret. And all of a sudden now you're into another layer of, well, I'm blaming myself for not doing that. And that's no good. You didn't know at the time. There's no reason to regret. You just say, okay, well, if I want to do it now, I'll do it now. And it's that process for me now. So day by day by day by day, I used a guy said to me the words, why don't you open the cage and just climb straight out? And I said, I need something else. And I think this is referring to 3D, 5D, to be honest with you. I think I can look back now and say I didn't fully come out of that cage in 3D because it was still shit. It still didn't make sense to me. And this is another reason why this went up in March this year. Because all of a sudden, now it made more sense why I didn't climb out of that cage then. It wasn't the right time. It was still keep yourself boxed, but have the gate open, ready to go, son. Yeah. So it was there. So it's the process. And he said, what do you need to do? See to believe. And I said, no, I need to believe to see. So each day I believed, and each day I saw, and each day there was no anger, and each day there was nothing went wrong, and each day, a bit like Benjamin said about 4 days or 2 days and he didn't die. Same with this. it worked day by day by day up until you stop. You just believe that, and you don't need to see anymore. It's just natural. Then it becomes normal. And this is a process. It's a process for everybody, and it's lovely and it's wonderful, and it leads us to these conversations. You know.
Yes. There is a song to that one, Lee.
Is that?
Day by day, day by day, day by day. Oh dear Lord, 3 things I pray, to see thee more clearly, day by day, to love, whatever, you know.
Lovely.
From the movie Godspell, that's Ida.
We need some
I
drums.
loved Godspell. I have the album.
So I use my story with other people with reference to their lives, and just tell my story to them. And this is what I was doing whilst I was teaching, and with reference to the traumas and the pains and the blame and the forgiveness. And it's 100% of people resonated with that story because, again, it's showing vulnerability, but with strength, and it hits everybody's life, everybody. And so I was a little bit, as I said to Randy, I was a little bit concerned about how much trauma is going to come out in people at this point. I'm not anymore. I'm not, because I think it's just a natural process for everybody to go through, and it's how they decide to go through it. All I can do is hold my arms open, give them a hug, tell them I love them. This is the story. This is what you need to do. Or this is what I did. Sorry, not what you need to do. And understand where you are. Holding blame and holding anything like that against yourself or anybody else is pointless and mute. We're not here to survive. We're here to fucking live. Holding blame means you're in survival. and then you can start to smile about things like this. And it all just drops in. And everybody thinks you're crazy. Bring on the crazy. That's up there, isn't it? Hang on.
Look at what he did. He started talking, and Benjamin completely changed his clothes and is wearing something amazing there. How did that happen?
Quick change.
I have to jump off now, everyone.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say thank you. This has been beautiful and miraculous. And yeah, I love you all.
Love you
Merry
too.
Christmas.
Have a great,
Thank you.
have a great
Thank
time
you.
tomorrow,
Merry
whatever you're
Christmas.
doing.
Thank you, honey. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Love you,
You didn't want
guys.
to share my
Bye,
take.
Andrea.
Bye.
Bye.
Rightio.
So
So
what
yeah,
about IDAS 2020?
So-
What about IDAS 2020?
Yeah, can I, I'll jump in. So for me, if I wrap it up in a nice neat bow, it was a year of letting go and adding to. Right? When you let go, you make space to add to.
Mhm.
Right? If you hold on, you're not making space for something new. So letting go, adding to. And I started off this year with a beautiful trip to Hawaii. Never been to Hawaii
Oh.
and wanted to go. And we were joking because that was at the end of February. And we were joking, hey, maybe we won't be able to come back home with this virus, right? Maybe we'll be able to stay in Hawaii. Wouldn't that be terrible? So, you know, that's how we started off the year. And so in terms of letting things go, I had to let go of a lot of ways that I operated my business. I'm self-employed. I had an office. You know, I had to let all that go and begin to work online. What a new paradigm that was, right? Seeing people and experiencing their energy face to face to, oh, now we're online. I don't feel you as much. I don't feel you as much. I want to
can
feel you,
feel
but we're
I can
online. And the other thing, the adding to, was all of a sudden I was hearing people say things like how they didn't feel free with COVID, right? Like there's this lack of freedom. And I can remember feeling like, God, that's the one thing I don't think I'm able to let go of. I need freedom. I will fight to the death for freedom. I'm sounding like William Wallace. Freedom! But so something I realized, because it shook my fear up, right? It shook the fear in me, like I can't lose freedom. No. So then I started to learn freedom wasn't about actually everything closing down and people wearing masks. Freedom is up here. And so when I started to add things, when I let go of things, the freedom I experienced was amazing.
Yep.
And it ties in with what you said, Lee. When you take accountability and self-responsibility, that is freedom. Because the only person that you have any control over is yourself. So once you take responsibility and accountability, you're the one that can decide whether you want to change or not, right? You can't change anybody else.
No.
So there was a freedom in that one too. There was a freedom
Yes.
like, oh my God, if I turn it, the energy towards myself instead of outside of myself, that's where the empowerment, that's where the freedom resides. It's not about that.
No,
It's about this.
right. And isn't that a
Oh,
wonderful?
do you know, that secret is so amazing. And not a lot of people that I work with know that. So that's been a lot of my work online, is helping people turn their energy away from there to in here, and finding the freedom there. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that was the blessing, the letting go and adding to. And you know what? I let go of quite a few people this year. Like people that, you know, were toxic to me without really knowing they were. And as soon as I let them go, look what's happening.
Detox.
Hello, new community. Hello, new community.
Detox.
I wouldn't,
So
don't think so much about letting them go. Just think about ships passing. They didn't.
yeah, I can look at that. But some of them have been ships in my life for 40 years.
Well, I can say that.
You know?
No, I can
They
say the
were
same thing.
anchors. They were anchors.
They were anchors or
Yeah, good way. Yeah.
anchors or
Remember
actors.
my saying was, when I let go, I took off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So that's been my experience. For the one thing I am remiss. Oh, what is this saying? I can't
No,
see.
I can't do it. I don't think. No, I'll read it to you in a second.
Okay. So I just want to say the one thing I'm having trouble with that taps into that lack of freedom, so the struggle, is not being able to travel.
Yet,
That's the one thing that really feels yucky.
yet, just put it down to
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
Put it down to
Yeah.
yet. It's not
Well,
that
we
much
have
of a
how many
hardship.
more days? Six?
No.
6 days left.
Why?
No,
Why?
we're talking about this year, 2020.
Oh,
So
6, 7.
I don't know, but so I'm looking forward to that part again.
I wouldn't. I look at a lot of this now and think, if I put expectation on it, I'm letting to myself, I'm getting ready for disappointment. So I'm looking to travel. It will happen when it happens. That's the way I look at this now. I'm on my own most of the time, and I'd much prefer to be around people, but this isn't the time for that. When is the time for that? I don't know. When the time's right. That's again with a lot of this, it's just leave it to somebody else, leave it to something higher to worry about this stuff, and don't put expectation on anything. This is where I am. I'm sure a lot of us have been the same way with regards to what's gone on with COVID and what's gone on with Trump and what's gone on with and all of this stuff. And when's the arrest? Whatever. But if we put expectation on it, then we get depressed or upset when it doesn't happen. So let it happen, let it play out. And the one thing I was going to say is something I've got on my bathroom mirror, and this I put up in March this year. The important thing is to let some things go. Free yourself from them, cut it off. Close the cycle, not because of pride, weakness or pride, but just because there is no room for something in your life anymore. Close the door, change the record, clean the house, shoot the dust. Stop being who you were, be who you are.
Awesome.
On the bed, I got a few of these around the house. just for those, just to rewrite the subconscious.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of this is reminding me of a book or series of books I read a number of years ago by a Canadian author, Eckhart Tolle, and you know, The Power of Now. And then I sang that song. Remember, Ida? I sang that song, The
Yes.
Power of Love.
The power of now, the power of love.
But yeah, that now is such an important thing, surpassing time, you know, getting rid of the idea of time in our minds, you know, and living in the moment. And it's been such a, you know, pleasant time for me to get back to that again. I mean, I used to do it on the farm and on my ranch, and just, you know, it was just now. I didn't know what day it was. It didn't matter. The cattle had to be fucking fed, and that was it, you know. But once I got into the city, there was a few years there when time got into it, and how long am I going to be in this, you know, broke position? Like I was fucking working at a temp agency and, you know, dragging in a few dollars if I could, and living in, you know, poverty basically. And that idea of time started to creep in on me. But this last year, boy, let go of all of that once again and just disappeared.
One thing I liked about, I read about the other day, and I kind of get my head around this one, is there is no, we understand on a higher level that there is no such thing as time. There's just events, and all events happen now. So there is no past or future or present, it's just now, and every single event happens now. And if you can understand that, then there is no expectation because it's already there.
I got another guy stopped here. Hold on a second. You guys go ahead.
And just again, it's mind games. It's playing with your mind on what am I living? How am I living? Am I living in this film, this 2D film, this timeline, or am I living event to event in the now?
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it, Lee.
Yeah, it depends how your head works, I think, with a lot of this stuff. But again, when you get tied up in when, just think, no, it doesn't matter when. Okay, I can't do that at the moment. It doesn't mean that I can't do something else. Or I can't imagine.
And yet is a good word too. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, I use that a lot.
People say, well, when are you going to get that? Well, not yet. You know, like it's coming. Don't worry about it. Just relax.
It's on its way. I'm working towards it.
Randy, you're such a patient person with that whole fun thing. Holy
I'm telling you.
smokes. Oh.
It has taken me to the max. I'm telling you. And I mean, even this morning, I sent a message to the account holder again. I said, Jesus Christ, is this like the second coming or what the fuck's going on here? You know, like, and he comes back with, and Benjamin knows who I'm talking about. His name is Benjamin as well, this account holder. And he comes back with, yeah, it's the second coming. Just have faith. He says, I love you. That's it. That was his answer this morning again, Benjamin. So, you know, but that one has only been, you know, kind of contracted since the end of October, wasn't it, Benjamin? I think when we had that contract written up.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been that long, but
I love how you
process.
say only since October, only.
Well, think of it, you know, like, sorry, go ahead, Benjamin.
I said not that long.
No, that's right. And
You're
you know,
patient too, Benjamin.
Very, very
oh my
patient.
God, he sure is. And you know, for me, it's been a process of education too at the same time. And if you say, okay, it takes you 9 years to be a doctor or a lawyer, fuck, it's only been like a little over 2.5 years since I got into the banking business. And, you know, to think that we can, yeah, that's about it. Like for me, Benjamin, you've been a little bit longer, Benjamin, or how long have you been at it?
Not so long.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been our education and then adding that patience to it. But, you know, now there's really nothing that can stump either one of us in the banking world. And I don't care who it is, you know, throw it at us and we'll figure it out, you know.
If you want to fish, you must learn how to be patient. Because sometimes when you drop in the line, the fishes just dance around. But once you are patient, you can get whatever you want. And for me, 2020 has been like, you know, reliving the science fiction, the movie, The Matrix. Actually, there's a scene when they went to see the Oracle. And Neo was so impressed how this little guy could just bend the spoon, and he wanted to bend the spoon actually physically. And he said, do not try to bend the spoon. That is impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth. Then you will see that it is not the spoon that bends, it is only yourself. So I have learned a lot from this movie. It's actually reliving the movie about knowing yourself. And when you enter into the hall of the Oracle, on top, I said, man, know thyself. Okay. So the better you know more of yourself, the better you will become a better person. And I have learned in 2020 to detach. Sometimes I see things and then I just, former times I will look and then react. But now I don't react and I let things go because reaction is not good. And it is like, it is yourself that, is over there. And sometimes I was sharing with Randy the other time about Ho'oponopono, if you have heard about it, the Hawaiian way of reconciling oneself. So when I even meet a scene and it is not pleasant, what I do is I clean. And in cleaning, you say the 4 words of Ho'oponopono: I love you, please forgive me, thank you, and then you release. And once you do these things, you are cleaning yourself, and then you clean the other person, and then we will have a bigger world. So when the COVID was happening across the globe, people will sometimes call and say, hey, these things that you people are talking about, we thought it was conspiracy. Now it is opening up. Now it's no more conspiracy. The history was once what we are told. The facts are really the conspiracy, and the conspiracy is really the truth.
Yep.
So,
when you say it's like science fiction, I think science fiction is more real than reality.
yeah,
Yes.
it's more than reality. Yeah. So actually, there's nothing like fiction. So there's nothing like fiction. Fiction is actually the reality that we are seeing now, and our world will change for the better. For me, I see 2021. We have, entered into the Aquarian age. Actually, when you look at the Bethlehem star that appeared on 21st, there's a whole lot of geographical shifts. And I use this software, Stellarium, to actually stimulate what is happening in the heavens. It's really, really interesting what is happening. And according to some people who have, astrologers who have looked at this thing is occurring 800, it is repeating itself over 800 years. So, I mean, the last time this kind of conjunction happened in the sky was about 800 years ago. And
Yes.
it means we have entered into a new age of freedom. And this, what do you call it? The sign. Jupiter is in the sign of the Aries, an airy, cardinal. So it means information, freedom of information. We are free to do whatsoever we want to do. But not to say we'll go through a lot of little restrictions for the coming year, but we will be able to achieve whatsoever we want to achieve, and then move on further and further into more freer society, a better society. Most of the people, we are considering them to be problem creators for our globe. Gradually, you will be searching for them and you won't find them. They will fade out of the system, whether by natural selection or by enemies. The universe have to do its cleaning work. So we'll be rid of these people, and the people with a higher consciousness, like we are cleaning ourselves, and we are becoming more and more better. Like a storybook I read some time ago about a rusted metal saying, "Sun, dazzle me." And the sun said, "No, I cannot dazzle you. You have to clean yourself first to be dazzled." So,
Beautiful.
So if you want to be dazzled by God, if you want to be dazzled or be able to feel or enter into where we are going, then you need to clean yourself and prepare for what is ahead.
Benjamin, I'm not dirty.
I know. I know.
Talking of which, how old you going to go back? If there's an opportunity to reverse age, when there's an opportunity to reverse age, What age would you like to go back to, Ida?
Back
Yeah.
to?
No.
As
Let me clarify slightly. You will keep your memories, you will keep your experiences, you will keep all of that. It's just a physical age reverse, nothing else.
So
Reset.
does that mean like past lifetimes too?
No,
Or
this,
just
No.
this one?
no.
Right
This
now.
one.
Present.
How old would you like to be again forever?
Okay.
For as long as you want to be.
18.
18 for you, Benjamin. Okay.
What did you
I
say,
already-
Benjamin?
18.
18. Yeah, mine was probably around there too. 18, maybe 17, 18.
William?
I have to say 33 because I already did it. I'm still 33. I went back there when I realized what you were saying. I just went back to 33 and I just stayed there. That was good enough.
I'll do. 33. William?
It's funny you should say that because I've been introduced to a product that apparently is supposed to reverse your age. A story
Wow.
for another time. But given that question, I'd say 30. I like 30.
It's weird. That's strange. It's because I'm 30 as well. I'd like 30 as well. I wouldn't want to go back to 18. I don't think. I'll just stay at 30. That'll be good. But
Yep.
it's just an interesting one. And there's a few products out there, William, that are doing this at the moment. But the med bed,
Yep.
the holographic beds will be the ones.
Yep.
Have you heard of that technology, that app that's out there that people are saying is built on Tesla tech?
Yeah.
Which one?
The
The-
Genius one.
The
It's
medical
called
beds.
Genius.
Ask Benjamin.
I haven't heard about that, but I've heard about the medical beds whereby the cell of your body can be reset to a particular age. And I think on Monday, a friend sent me a video about some scientists in Australia who were researching on cancer cells, and they found out that the cells that are creating the cancer has potential of reversing your age, making you, grow younger. So they did that and then experimented it on lab rats. It worked. And then they experimented it on human beings at a little, minor phase, but they want to go further because this can regenerate the wrinkles, make you actually youthful. So they want to go on a large scale to produce this serums so that you can be injected with. But they are medical based. That's what I have heard. You can do age regression and you can go back to about 18. And then if you have a cut in your body, they just put a gel, and then within about some minutes it's sewed up, and then you cannot even see a wrinkle or a spot. It blends perfectly. So these are things that are coming, and it is both for external and then internal. So they can look at your internal system, which part of the body do you want to renew, and then they do it's like a CT scan. They look at the internal structure, and whatever has gone wrong in the body, they reset it to the normal way.
Works on vibration, I believe, and it even replacing body parts that have been taken out, because the vibration, the energetic knowledge is still there, and the DNA it scans the whole of the DNA sequence and then resets the body to how it should have been, which is another reason why the mRNA vaccine would not be a good idea.
To Randy and to Lee, the gentleman that I sent you a link about, the guy who does the meditations every day that I
Jared,
follow.
yeah, I know,
Yeah, so Jared works on something called a celestial chamber, which is
same
med bed one notch higher, which does do reverse aging and things of that nature. So yeah, fascinating stuff.
Well, Jared's first thing I saw on him was in April, I think, on a site called Blissful Visions, and he bought all this bed stuff out from the Secret Space Program.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 20 to 1 and back, isn't he? Whether he's done it twice or 3 times, I'm not sure. But he bought that information back. Have you ever seen the Blissful Visions site, William?
No, I haven't. I'd be happy to have a link if you had one.
Yeah, it's just
So-
blissfulvisions.com, I believe. But I'll have a little look for you and send it across.
I'm
Thanks.
going to send you guys a link to this thing because it's based on vibration and frequency too. And it's Tesla Tech.
Is it right?
And it's quite fascinating. You get a 14-day free trial, and it actually is meant to heal.
Is it called Rife
and-
technology?
Sorry?
Is it Rife technology, or is it Frequency Heals, or is it called Spooky 2?
No, it's called Genius something.
There's a few out there. I've got about 5,000 different frequencies stored for everything. Because Rife in 1934, Edward Rife was working on this, and he used frequency technology from Tesla to. He wanted to find out the vibration of every bacteria and everything in the body, so that he could
Yes.
actually send the frequency through the body, and it would just take out the things he
That's
didn't want.
this thing.
It's Spooky
this
2. There's
thing-
another one.
yeah.
It's called Spooky 2. It's based on Rife. If you look for Edward Rife, I believe, 1934, I believe, his technology got suppressed then.
Royal Rife.
What
Royal.
they're doing is they're bringing it out slowly. But I think these precursors are, these technologies that you're talking about, this Genius stuff and this Spooky 2, are where we're trying to go, but the stuff's already there. Does that make any
Yeah.
sense? So the stuff's already
Yes.
been advanced to a massive level, but suppressed. And what we're trying to do now is get our scientists are trying to, their breakthrough science has already been done. In my understanding, these med beds are already there and they're already far above what the other stuff is. But the other stuff's sort of a precursor to it to show it can be done for the rest of the people before it drops.
And what I heard is, you know those rescued children?
Yeah, they're using it first.
I heard the med beds are being held up because they're using them now on all the children they've rescued.
That's what I believe's happening as well. I mean, I think it was Trump that said there will be no more surgeries come June. I think he said that last June.
Yeah.
So there's a timeline. But for me personally, I believe that the need outweighs the timeline. So what I can see is it comes a bit quicker than that. Maybe not mainstream, but certainly for who needs it will get it earlier than June. That's just, again, that's my story. Please, that's in mind mapping how I.
That's okay. There's
fascinating stuff.
so many things that are going on right now.
Fascinating stuff.
So again, it's the same thing with the money thing.
I knew a guy.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Randy.
I ran into a guy on Facebook that his name is Mike Emery, and he had a bubble tech technology too. And you know, he's an extremely intelligent man, writes documents and writes books and stuff like that as well. And you know, so there's so many different ways that this is happening. That's all I kind of wanted to add to that. I'm intrigued. And yes, William, I'm going to go take a look at Jared Rand this evening a little bit more because I haven't yet. But I'm going to just sign off too because I've got about another hour and a half drive, and I don't want to drive in the dark too much because the roads are quite snowy out here. We had a big snowstorm, and the highways
maybe we can all end it.
Yeah, well, it's tough. It's nearly quarter to, it's 11:30 here.
Yeah.
But that was wonderful, guys, and I'm sorry it went a bit earlier. Sorry to use the vernacular.
We'll see how it all boils out in the end when you put it together. We'll see where it ends up. But I was gonna say, like, maybe before the new year we can do one more, you know, because we missed out on 3 of the ladies that wanted to get in, and Karen was texting me to try and get in. I don't know, that was during when it went off. So we didn't get to have her come in either. But those 3 ladies would all love to join us as well. So, and we'll just have to, you know, be conscious of a little bit of time maybe next time, because if we got 9 people, then we'll have to shorten up our little time slots or whatever. But you know, if you want to be the chairman of that or something, William, because it seems like we could use it like a chair, I guess is the only word I can come up with. And I'd love that, William, if you could just step in a little bit once in a while. I really like that you're gonna take the lead on this. I appreciate that, William.
A moderator.
Moderator, yeah. Okay. I'm happy to take that on. And as your appointed moderator, I'm going to share one thing real quick and then pass it on to Randy for the final blessing to close out the day. And this came to me again when just like the first video that I did with Lee and Randy. Sometimes something pops in my head based on something that you shared. While Randy was talking, I got the lyrics in my head from the song Time Passages. And it was something that Randy said. I wanted to quickly share it because I called it up here. And then I'm going to pass it to Randy for a little bit of love and euphoria. So it was late in December. The sky turned to snow. All around the day was going down slow. Night, like a river, beginning to flow. I felt the beat of my mind go, drifting into time passages. Years go falling in the fading light. Time passages, be my ticket on the last train home tonight. I think I'll leave it at that. I'm going to pass it on to Randy, and thank you all.
Thanks, guys. And, you know, after this, it doesn't have to end with Randy. Like, we can do whatever, you know, like this is our channel now. This isn't, you know, Randy's thing anymore. And that's what I wanted to do with this, is to, you know, let's grow it organically, like Lee always mentions that word, and just
together as one,
you know, Tao. Exactly. Together as one. So
together as one.
I'll say my thing this time, but it, you know, doesn't always have to end this way. With peace, harmony, love, abundance, and freedom for everyone and everything every day on our minds. Abundance, sovereignty, health, love, and euphoria. Go and have some fun, guys, and we'll talk to you after Christmas.
I love you.
Love you guys.
Merry Christmas to you all.
Love you all.
Thank
Love you.
Bye.